So one of the questions that I'm seeing a lot on social media and in the comments of my videos and pretty much everywhere right now is the bull market over? Many people seem to think so. So let's explore. Join me in today's episode of Crypto Corner, where I'm going to look at the charts and I'm going to show you what is the most likely scenario in my view. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Crypto Corner with myself, OJ, crypto analyst and investor since 2016. Now let's answer the question, is this cycle over? Because honestly, I saw so many videos lately and so many comments on my videos as well. Twitter is full of people talking about the market cycle being finished already, the bull cycle being finished, entering a bear cycle. It's all doom and gloom according to some people. I mean, this guy here, I don't really know him, trades by Dave. He's even charting the cycle top, pointing out to it being on March 15th. And then from there, he claims that we are now in a bear cycle. Is this correct? Is this true? Well, if we look at altcoins, you could think so. I mean, even though Bitcoin in the last 7 days is only 5% down, 495, if we look at altcoins, there are some very big losers. And even including in my portfolio, in the last week, we have some altcoins dropping by 30 and even more percent. On my watch list, I have Gamercoin dropping by 31%, Lush AI dropping by 30%, Mint Layer, a very strong contender at the beginning of the year, 17% down in the last 7 days, but 50% down in the last month. And Lush is 54% in the last month. GHX is 54% down in the last month. So many altcoins, and then you have a lot here that are 48%, 45%, 42%. So some of these tokens are in my portfolio. DGen, for instance, is in my portfolio. It's in my DGen portfolio, of course, quite aptly named so. 40% down in the last 7 days. Toshi, a meme coin, 34% down in the last 7 days. So yeah, if you look at altcoins alone, you could think that the bull cycle is over. Everything is over, especially people who were buying altcoins in the beginning of the year, let's say January, February, when we did have an out season. This is the token metrics chart that I'm showing you here. This is one of the many metrics that I'm using, and this is a very clear chart. It just shows you where are we? Are we in a Bitcoin season? Are we in an altcoin season? We were in altcoin season back at the beginning of this year. So many people who were buying altcoins aggressively in January and February when we were in altcoin season are seeing 50-60% drops in their portfolios, in their bags. And this is scary, right? Many people are afraid, and even I would argue that the drop this week over the last 7 days in altcoins was mainly driven by fear. First, you have diminishing returns, and you have drops, and many altcoins returned to prices that they used to be at the end of last year. So people who are buying around these prices are perhaps selling at this point to protect themselves from further losses. They've already written off the profits. Clearly that there's not going to be profits if you're selling at this point, but perhaps people are just trying to save themselves from making losses. On the other hand, people who bought over the last couple of months, they are seeing big losses. So some of them were selling in the red, but that's because of fear, because they feel like everything is over and we are entering another bear cycle, and now we're going to see months or maybe years of downwards price action. I don't think this is the case, and I'm going to show you some other metrics, but while we are here at this chart, it's clear that we are in Bitcoin season, we are deep in Bitcoin season, and in fact we are going even deeper. As soon as we get below the 25 range here, this is perfect accumulation zone for anything but Bitcoin, because this is when Bitcoin is the strongest. And this is Bitcoin against altcoins, right? This is not just the strength of Bitcoin on its own, but we are measuring here the strength of Bitcoin against altcoins. So when you see that we are in Bitcoin territory, this is the time to be accumulating altcoins, because what happens after that, sooner or later, we actually entering altcoin territory. Bitcoin starts weakening its dominance. We can actually look at this chart as well, the Bitcoin dominance, which is painting, the same picture. As Bitcoin dominance is growing up, this is when money is flowing into Bitcoin. It's a lot of the times it's coming out of altcoins and it's going into Bitcoin. And this is why its dominance is growing. But as soon as it hits a resistance, and I've drawn here levels of resistance, as soon as it hits resistance, it's going to start dropping. And as it starts dropping, weakening, this is when money is flowing out of Bitcoin and into altcoins. So an out season is inevitable at some point. It's not going to be immediate. It's not going to be right now. But I feel we are approaching that time because we do have upwards momentum with diminishing volume. This is in fact a bearish indicator. And then we are already, this is the rainbow chart here, but we are already entering that overbought region. And sooner or later, we are going to start dropping on the downside. And this is relevant not only for Bitcoin's dominance. This is just an indicator that we can use for everything, including price action. But price action is driving this dominance here. So in effect, we are looking at price action yet again. I feel that we don't really have that much time left of Bitcoin's dominance leading the way. And we're going to see a weakening, a drop in Bitcoin's dominance, which will lead us to altcoins starting pumping again. And this is what I'm feeling everyone is preparing for. Now, many people, swing traders in particular, have moved money out of altcoins into Bitcoin in anticipation of the next move, because Bitcoin has been going sideways for quite some time now. It's been going sideways for 59 days. And typically after a halving, this is another thing that I want to mention. After a halving, we do have a period where Bitcoin is just consolidating. It's going sideways. And that period lasts for several weeks to several months, but sooner or later Bitcoin breaks on the upside. This is right after a halving. And the halving was in April, on the 20th of April. So we've had 59 days, 2 months, 60 days pretty much, of going sideways. So this is now getting exhausted. We are slowly starting to build the momentum here for a breakout on the upside. And as that happens, Bitcoin is usually the first one to break and start the run. And then altcoins are catching up. This is pretty much what I see as the most likely scenario. I'm gonna first show you how we behaved in previous cycles. So this is back in the last bull cycle. We had in the run up to the halving of Bitcoin, we had 108% gains. Then we had a minor sell-off that happens just at the week of the halving, 10 days before the halving. We see that people are trying to cash out and, catch the event. So it's kind of buy the rumor, sell the news type of a price action. This is very standard. And then right after the halving, we see that we start going sideways. We recover a little bit, we go down, we recover a little bit, we go down again. So we move sideways until we finally break out and we do the next strong leg on the upside. 77 days it took last time in the last bull cycle. 77 days. So now we are at 60 days. We can assume another couple of weeks, but this is the previous bull cycle, the one before the last bull cycle. This is back in 2016. And again, we had in the run-up to the halving, we had 109% this time. So pretty much around 100% is what we do in the run-up to the halving. And then after the halving, we had a sideways momentum going for 105 days before we actually break out and we make a stronger bull run. This was in 2016. In 2020, we had 77 days. So right now, 59 days. What is the most likely scenario? This, to me, what I've drawn here, is the most likely scenario. I expect us to go sideways for another few weeks and eventually a break on the upside. Now, this is not a precise prediction here. I'm not talking about a particular day or even particular week of when this breakout is going to happen. So in the anticipation of this breakout of Bitcoin, money is going into Bitcoin more than it is going into altcoins. This is why altcoins are bleeding. Second reason altcoins are bleeding is that many people were too afraid, inexperienced, and they were selling because they saw that they're losing money. And typically people who are not experienced, when they see that something is going down, they want to exit. They want to sell. Even if it's at a loss, they're selling. So it's the ripple effect. It's, it's the fear and the panic in the market that is driving this sell-off in altcoins. Another reason is that there are so many new projects launching all the time. During this bull market, we've seen a record number of tokens being launched. This article is talking about nearly 500,000 new tokens launched only on Solana over the last month in May. So that's only one blockchain, Solana. So almost 500,000 tokens launched. I remember in 2017, we had about 10,000 tokens in the whole crypto market. And we thought this is too many, way too many. You know, everyone is talking about the top 100. And then we have, you know, over 9,000. It was less than 10, but it was around 10,000 tokens back in 2017. And we thought, wow, this is so many. Everything is so diversified and the money is basically being spread too thin, because when money goes into crypto market, it doesn't only go into the 5 top coins or the 10 top coins. You know, all kinds of projects are attracting all kinds of investors and money is being diluted. So this is also happening right now, even more so. So we had 455,000 tokens only on Solana over the last month. 177,000 tokens on Ethereum's layer 2 base, and then 39,000 tokens on BNB Smart Chain, and then Arbitrum and Optimism saw another 20,000 each around 20,000 tokens. So we're talking around 700,000 new tokens were launched in the month of May. And how do you think people were buying these tokens? Of course, a big chunk of money that comes into these tokens would be kind of, fiat money that is sitting on the sidelines being allocated for these kind of investments. But not only. There's a lot of people who would actually sell some altcoins to buy some other ones. And this is what I was doing as well over the last few weeks. You know, as I was updating my portfolio, I exited some positions from altcoins that I didn't like the performance over the last 3 months. And I went heavier into other tokens, or I joined a few ICOs and pre-sales, because this is where I'm getting the lower prices, and I share this with you. So if you're following me on this channel, by the way, this is a good time to subscribe. But if you're following this channel for a while, you are seeing the tokens that I'm excited about, the tokens that I'm jumping into. I've talked about my portfolio. I've talked about all of the coins on my watch list. In fact, at the beginning of the year, I recorded a video where I was showing you the tokens in my watch list. Not all of them are in my portfolio, but my watch list at the time was around 90 tokens. I've already reduced that to 73. And again, this is my watch list. These are not tokens in my portfolio. I don't actually want to have more than 40 tokens in my portfolio, because it becomes a little bit too difficult to monitor everything. And also, a lot of the times, they will be correlated. So if I'm going too heavy into one sector, such as, for instance, I'm quite heavy in AI, I'm heavy in DeepIn and RWAs. So if I have 10 tokens in the same sector, what's the point? If I want truly diversification, I don't really want to be too heavy in just one sector. So I've spread my tokens around 5 sectors, and from each sector, I would have 2 or 3 tokens, 5 perhaps. But if I have 40 tokens, that means I do have some sectors more than 5 tokens, because I don't really have more than 5 sectors. Eventually, the goal is to actually reduce the tokens and to have no more than 3 or 4 tokens in each sector that I understand, that I know about, because there's many sectors. You don't really want to be having a token from every sector, because it's a little more difficult to analyze things this way. You need to stick to the sectors that you know best. But enough about altcoins. Let's go back to Bitcoin. And let's see, why am I so confident that the bear cycle is not started yet, that we have not yet exhausted our bull run, that we still have a long time to go from this bull run, from this bull cycle, before it's over? Well, first of all, this cycle has been very Bitcoin influenced, right? We did have the spot ETFs launching at the beginning of this year, and we saw a lot of institutional money flowing into Bitcoin. They don't really diversify into altcoins. So this is one of the reasons why we see that Bitcoin is outperforming the whole market right now. Even Ethereum was struggling. Even today is still struggling, but Ethereum spot ETF was just approved, and soon it will be listed, and this could actually kickstart the next leg from the bull run, especially for altcoins. But I still believe that Bitcoin is going to lead the way, Ethereum is going to come right after it, and then we're going to see another alt season. So you have to get ready. And the time to be buying altcoins is when they're bleeding, like now, when they are so down at 30-40% drops. And if you're buying good projects, tier 1 projects, I said that many times already, Just focus on tier 1 projects, the ones that are actually with good fundamentals, because these are the ones that are going to recover much faster. And then once we are in the out season, during the out season, you can go degen on some tokens and, go for the memes and all of those. But these are really short term. I said it many times already, so I don't want to repeat myself. Look at the chart of Bitcoin. We've had 22% correction. And before that, we had a 20% correction this year. So 2 corrections since the beginning of this year. And both of them are quite small corrections. 20 and 22%. This is nothing compared to previous years. If we do a 40% correction, by the way, 39 I've drawn here, we do go into a very scary territory for many people. We go in the 40,000s territory, so 43, 44,000. And for many people, this will be doom and gloom. And they will think that we are in a bear cycle. But if we look back in, this is 2017, and we've had a 42% correction. We've had a 39, so that's another 40% correction. We had a 30% correction, and we still continued the bull run still after that. So in November, we had the 30% correction, and we still continued a very strong December before we actually had the blow off top and we ended that bull cycle. This is back in 2021. We had a 54% correction. Before that, we had a 28%, and before that, a 30%. And we still continued the bull run. So we had 3 corrections here in a short space of time that were all bigger than the corrections that we had this year in this cycle. And we still continued the cycle here. So by all means, I don't see any reason for us to think that after 2 corrections of 20%, we have exhausted this cycle and we are now going to be entering bear territory. Until we break below the 40K, which would be more than 40% correction, I'm not going to turn bearish, but I'm not going to be waiting for that, guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to wait for us to drop below 40K to declare that the bull cycle is over. There are indicators that we can look at. And one of these indicators that I've talked about many times in the past, and I've told you that I will keep monitoring this indicator in case you don't know how to use it or in case you don't have it on the charting tools that you're using. This is the Pi cycle indicator. And we basically have 2 moving averages here. I'm not going to go into the details to make it complicated. I'll just tell you this one thing. We are looking for a cross between the red and the green line. The red line crossing on the upside with the green line. This is when it indicates that we've had a top of the market. And this is back in 2021. And we can also look at it here back in 2017. So this is December 2017. You can see it more clearly here. The orange line or red line is crossing the green one pretty much on the same day as the market cycle top is forming. Right? Not as clear in the last bull cycle in 2021 because this cross was very minor. You can almost miss it because after that it kind of went down, but it did cross. We did continue after that. We actually tried to bounce on the upside. We tried to continue the bull rally because there was a lot of bullish sentiment at the time. Nobody believed that this would be the market top. And we continued, tried, again, but it turned out that this was the move. That was it. We went just a little bit above this high, but by $1,000 higher. And we failed. After that, we went into a proper bear cycle. So until I see the cross in these 2 moving averages, I'm not worried about the bull cycle being over. And where are we today? Well, this is where we are today in this indicator. Not even close for the 2 moving averages to be crossing. So there you have it. This is yet another indicator, and there's other, you can actually look at other on-chain statistics and things to back up my claim here. But my claim is that we are far from over in this bull cycle. We still have a lot of months ahead of us of proper gains. And in fact, the biggest part of this bull cycle is ahead of us. We haven't even seen it yet. I feel that we can continue for another few weeks this sideways consolidation move in Bitcoin until we finally find the strength to break on the upside and take the next leg up that is going to take us to a new all-time high. And then soon after that, altcoins are going to start catching up. So buying altcoins right now as they're bleeding heavily is a good deal, but you have to be clever about it. You have to be buying good altcoins. Right now is not the time to be buying meme coins or celebrity coins or all of this, fake stuff that is just a pump and dump schemes. These are things that you can play safely when we have an out season and things are moving really fast, and you can play them for short term, but don't invest in meme coins for the long term. Well, this is everything from me. Thanks for staying until the end of the video, guys. Show your support, leave a like and also a comment below if you have any questions, or maybe you disagree with me here. I want to hear from you. What is your take? Do you still think that the bull market is over? Do you worry that we are entering another bear cycle? And if you do, based on what? Drop a comment below. I want to hear from you. And while you're here, just check another one of my videos and I'm gonna see you there.